Steeler Nation, we are back for another great episode on the one and only The Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. I am Jay York Football. Alongside of me, as always, mic'd up Sports One. And man, like we always say, football is right around the corner. I have a great guest on today. And, the non-losing season, I think that's something we can kind of touch on. Don't bet against Mike Tomlin, as they say, but hopefully the Steelers have turned the corner and can get a playoff win this year. But like I said, the optimism is the all-time high with these off-season moves. How are you?
It's a good teaser to potentially not bet against Mike Tomlin. We know how angry Pittsburgh has been recently, and we do not care anymore about the non-losing season streak. But absolutely a wonderful guest today to help maybe give some more insight and context about what could potentially happen this season as we brace for the craziness of Aaron Rodgers' arrival. So Shane, go ahead and run it. We're excited to bring her in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Flacco Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast.
Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
As I mentioned, betting expert, all-around sports expert, of course, host of The Daily, the top national betting show. You can listen to it on Odyssey, BetMGM app, really anywhere you get your podcasts. So we're excited to welcome her in. It is Chelsa Messinger. Hi, Chelsa.
Wow, you guys said my name right. So a round of applause there because so many people say Chelsea, even though my name is spelled phonetically. Chelsa, it's not a hard word to pronounce or say. So off the top, we're off to a hot start.
We'll take it. I knew Chelsa growing up, so I think that probably helps. You know, it's interesting. I always want to make sure I get it right, and I felt really confident in this. So we're off to a good start, like you said.
There you go, one for one.
Yeah,
1 for 1. Hey, that's 1 for 1 in betting, I suppose. So I'm batting 100% so far. So I want to transition quickly, obviously, into some Steelers talk. I first just want to get your general thoughts as a fan, as an analyst, on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Chelsa.
Well, it feels hard for me to take my betting analyst cap off because that's how I kind of think of things. So I'm not a Steelers fan. I am a Titans fan, unfortunately speaking. But I think Aaron Rodgers, from a betting standpoint, is an extremely interesting case because in betting, we're always looking for, the super volatile teams that can come from like a longer price and come out of nowhere and shock a lot of people. So that's the thing for me. I am not going to outdo you guys when it comes to like the Steelers on-field moves, the X's and O's and whatever they are talking about at training camp. But from a market standpoint, because betting is very similar to like the stock market. So you are looking for those stocks that you can get at a seller price and you're hoping that you can get something out of them. So right now over at BetMGM, the Steelers aren't commanding a ton of respect. They're certainly not favored to win the AFC North. They are plus 550, which means if you bet $100 on them and they win the division, you win $550. Even for them to finish second in the AFC North, you're getting plus 290 on those odds. So I feel like it's a really interesting team because we see this every single year in the NFL. There is a team that goes from either worst to first or has this huge turnaround, and a lot of it has to do with the quarterback position. So it's how much you trust Aaron Rodgers, but I will say you're getting really good prices on the Steelers this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I probably have not firmly made these predictions just yet. Aaron Rodgers' current over-under touchdowns sitting at 27.5. I'm seeing. What's your thoughts on that? Have you had any chats with anybody or insight looks into that?
I think touchdowns are tough because just somebody who has bet on this a lot before, he can have a great season, but like say you have this long touchdown or this long drive and they finish at the 1 and somebody runs it in. So maybe it's not one of those things that I'm willing to bet on, but a lot of this is if he stays on the field and if he's healthy, because I think he can get it, if he stays and plays the entire season, because he does have some interesting weapons. DK Metcalf is a physical specimen. And plus, it feels like they get along, which does feel like a good thing for Aaron Rodgers. I know he's one of those personalities that sometimes people write off, but they've already been doing off-season workouts together. So I do like that. I think the Steelers, the other X factor for me is the fact that they always play the teams in their division pretty tough. It doesn't seem to matter how much better like the Ravens are. Even those games in which like it was Lamar Jackson versus Ben Roethlisberger, who was averaging like 2.3 yards per throw, they still played them tough. So from my betting standpoint, this is a team that I'm very interested in. I don't know about the touchdowns. I haven't done like the numbers, I haven't dug into it. But I do think Aaron Rodgers is very interesting because people need to remember part of last season, he was coming off a major injury. And so it took him a while to get going. So quietly, the second half of the season, he started putting things together. And now that he plays for a franchise that has like adults in charge, it does feel like he should be primed for at least a better season.
Fair enough. Jordan, go ahead.
I like that. So we kind of talked about it in the intro about every year it feels like the book, has Tomlin losing season. Obviously, that hasn't happened. The book, I think, has him at 8.5 wins. Are you going over or under there?
Yeah, it feels like one of those over bets. In fact, I think this is probably my favorite Steelers bet because I'm not sure how much I believe in the high-end potential of the Steelers just because the AFC is just so tough. Like, if you're playing in a game against Josh Allen, maybe Lamar Jackson because he's in the division, but you just look at all the good quarterbacks in the AFC, and it feels like the trend has been the Steelers usually lose in the first round, and usually it's not pretty. Listen, I've bet on them before, taking the 10.5 against the Chiefs. That did not go in my favor, but I do think the win total is the best way to look at it because routinely, like I said, the Steelers play the teams in their division pretty closely, and usually they will win some games that they're not supposed to win. I'm not saying they're not gonna lose some games that they're not supposed to lose. I am just saying 8.5 seems like a very winnable number for a team that has some upside now that they have Aaron Rodgers in the fold.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the head there. They get up. The AFC North games, you could throw the records out of the window, especially towards the end of the season. If someone's out of playoff contention, they're still playing just to knock, their rival out. Talk about the pecking order a little bit. Let's AFC North. Do you think that the Steelers can, finish? Who do you have? Do you think they can finish at the top, better than the Bengals, or do you still have Baltimore at the lead? Where are you at right now as far as betting wise?
It does feel like Baltimore is probably the team to beat just in the regular season because we've seen that. Like Baltimore regular season juggernauts, like head to head, the Steelers play them pretty closely. But I think the other X factor is like in betting, we talk about teams that have like really high upsides or, you get a good price on them. The Bengals are that as well. If they can figure out their defense at all, obviously Joe Burrow has been putting up MVP numbers. So that kind of goes into the prices as well. Like sometimes I look at this and I say the Steelers at plus 550 to win their division. That feels like really long odds and it feels like maybe there's some disrespect there. But again, like there's some other really good teams. Like obviously the AFC North every single year is going to bring it. So the Ravens feel like one of those regular season juggernauts to me. The real questions come in the postseason. And for the Bengals, that's certainly a team that is the opposite is true. I don't really want to trust them in the regular season, but if they can sneak their way in the postseason, that's the team that you kind of want to bet on. So I do think the Steelers have a chance to at least challenge. And let me also say this. Sometimes you take futures bets for the hedging opportunity. Say you take the Steelers at plus 550 and the division is decided by one game at the end of the year. You have one side of the equation at plus 550, which means, I know this is a lot of math and you guys probably don't love that, but if, the money line on the other side is a decent price, say it's like the Ravens, minus 160 or something, there is a way where you can make guaranteed money on both sides of the coin. So I think that's a good way to play futures is for hedging opportunities down the road as well.
I like that. So before I throw it back over to Mike, who overall do you have, like, not necessarily a Super Bowl pick, maybe AFC Championship, way too early pick, AFC? Obviously, the Bills, you name some of them, Ravens, if they can get it together in the playoffs. Just kind of talk about that.
Yeah, the AFC. Obviously, it feels like the Bills' year, and doesn't it feel like that every single year?
Every year.
But I do feel like this is probably the best price you're going to get on the Chiefs in a while. And I understand that people are kind of tired of the Chiefs, but like you still have Patrick Mahomes, you still have Andy Reid, and you're getting plus 450 on them. Because I know you're asking me just straight away with prices not included, but again, I'm a betting analyst. So that goes into it as well. As far as like sleeper teams, I do think the division that the Chiefs play in is going to be a really good one. I know we've said this before, but the Broncos feel like a team on the rise. It feels like they keep getting like really good defensive players from the 49ers. They're 12-1 to win, or excuse me, that's the AFC #1 overall seed. Let's see. The Broncos are 15-1. The Chargers, I think, are poised to make another step in the right direction. They've got a great head coach, 12-1 as well. And then again, you look at the Bengals, and maybe you do a live bet because obviously they always start the season very slow. They're 10-1 right now, and we know if they go on the road to Arrowhead, they certainly have a chance to win there. So I think from a betting standpoint, I'd go for those longer shot teams just for a little bit more value.
Chelsa, before we get you out of here, I want to talk about another team that we're not fond of, that the city of Pittsburgh certainly are not fond of as well. That's the Cleveland Browns. You guys at BetMGM currently have them at 4.5 wins. The over-under is set. Looks like a ton of money is coming in on that over. I'm seeing it at minus 175, plus 145, under 4.5 wins. Well, what are your thoughts on those numbers?
You want me to talk about the Browns? How exciting.
I know, right?
Pandering to the audience
Give
a
us
bit there.
Two wins.
But 4.5, it's a very low win total, but we've seen this before. Like sometimes when teams are bad, they're real bad. And we've seen this in Cleveland even. So I don't think it's a bet that I'm going to be making with my own money. I'll probably stick to the other 3 teams in that division because I don't know. Sometimes it's just not worth it. And it's not even a team I want to root for with Deshaun Watson. I don't love the ownership. So no, thank you, please. Pass. Next. Let's move on.
Thoughts on your Titans, 5.5. What do you think of that number? Cam Ward.
When we speak about the market being low on teams, I think this is probably the lowest and the least amount of hype a #1 overall pick has had in quite some time. Like, how many people are talking about Cam Ward right now? Like, usually from a betting standpoint, those are the teams that you look at. You say, hey, nobody's even talking about this team. If they still had Mike Vrabel, I would definitely be on this because at least you know the team's going to be ready and prepared. But I'm not so sure if I trust in our head coach and that offense. So it's definitely going to be a rebuilding season. But hey, it's a low total. What'd you say it was? 5.5?
Yeah.
I think our schedule's really tough. But I don't know. I don't bet on my own teams that much. I have been burned so many times. And I can name several examples. Like bettors don't forget. Like, I think I have PTSD from the time that the Titans were the #1 overall seed in the AFC and the Bengals came to town and Ryan Tannehill threw 3 picks in that game we lost. So the Titans are a tough team for me to put my money on as well.
Yeah, and you're right. People, for some reason, are still talking about Shadur Sanders, even at this point in time, over Cam Ward, who obviously went in the 6th round. Quite ridiculous. Where can everybody find you? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, so I am on air every single weekday, 6 to 9 a.m. in the East on the Daily Tip on the BetMGM network. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. You can also stream it on Odyssey. And you can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Chelsa Messinger. If you want to drop me a line or tell me how bad my bets are, go ahead, be my guest.
I love it. I'm a frequent listener. Can you give any insight into the dog? What is the dog called on?
Oh, the dogster.
The
donkey?
The dogster. The dogster always gets me.
Okay, so here's the backstory. So we used to have BetQL, which is like they have like algorithms to make bets, and we were like, hey, we're gonna make them a mascot and make fun of it, which is a bold move because it was our sponsor, but we did it anyway because that's kind of our sense of humor. And so we have this inflatable donkey that gives us bets and this stupid reason. And in betting, there is this term called a chalk donkey. It's somebody who lays big numbers, say like, oh, you took the Chiefs to win on the money line at minus 350. What a bold move. That's what you call a chalk donkey. So we have the doctor who represents those bets, and we have him on the show every day.
Yep. It's a great voice. Kind of reminds me of dog a little bit.
Yes.
With that voice. But obviously, listen, you have a great voice as well. We're thrilled to bring you on and get your insight, pick your brain a little bit, and let's do it again sometime. Thanks, Chelsa.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Yeah, some great stuff, man. That Steelers win total 8.5 every single year. It's the same damn thing. And she likes the over. I know we like the over. One thing that a lot of people don't factor in is injuries. Obviously, if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, what would that drop their win total to? But both of us think Mason Rudolph would still be competent and find a way to win 9 games anyway, right? So listen, with Duck Hodges, Tomlin won 9 games. So it's probably bound to happen at some point. But this can't be the year, can it?
I mean, I don't know. It's just there's just too much. Like, I hate, like, I know we always say, like, the way too early. I just kind of want to let things play out. I told you this, and, I said this in previous episodes, that I feel that, everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a non-losing season again, yada, yada, yada. They'll keep you in. I think that full-heartedly, and I mean this, that this is either going to be the year where it's a complete disaster and real change is made, or we turn the page and, hopefully make a, Super Bowl run, at least a deep playoff run. I mean, I think everyone would be happy with, a playoff win, but that doesn't really solve anything because you have a 41-year-old quarterback. Obviously you could go to the draft or whatever, but at this point, it's just like something has to get the needle moving here.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be really happy though if you take the over 8.5 with cash. That's one way the team could make you happy, even if they lose early in the playoffs or don't make the playoffs at all. So it's incredible how big gambling has become in the sports world ever since it was kind of legalized throughout the country. You can't watch a baseball game now without seeing a graphic pop up. It says Key Brian Hayes is plus 700 to get a hit in this at bat. You can't watch a football game, without the announcers now talking about, oh, it's creeping up on that over under total. It's something before that felt like, what's the right word? It was frowned upon, and now it's taking control of sports, and it's dangerous but fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny how the whole dynamic of everything played. You have all these betting. I remember, this wasn't like this when we were growing up. You just walk in. I remember when we were on your bachelor party and you just go into a sports book and it's just like
awesome.
TVs everywhere, put in your bets before the game, kind of makes the game a little bit, some juice, I guess you can say, to watch instead of just going there and enjoying it as a fan. And I think that that's the same thing with fantasy as well. It just, you could, obviously, we can watch any football game. We can watch a D3 football game and, find fun in it. But when you have fantasy and you're rooting and trying to compose a team, be a GM, put the bets in, this is what football is all about. I mean, it is. We say it all the time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And I think I seen a tweet from an NFL account. It's like 50 days. It will be here. And yeah, it's exciting. I love it. Best time to be in Pittsburgh, fall time too. So I know you like to visit.
I never bet on the Steelers. That's one of my number one rules in gambling, and even fantasy football, drafting them. I never want to take like the Steelers minus 6 points and have them win by 4 and be angry at the end of the game. I just want them to win, right, outright. I don't want, or I don't want it to be the other side where they lose and I lose money, or that's like the double, right, entendre. So man, it just, that's one of my rules right there. We got a lot of great stuff from Chelsa and a lot of great stuff coming up. That's for sure, man. So I want to thank everybody for watching today's Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy. Any final words for the people?
No, we have some exciting stuff. I know we have a meeting this week kind of to get ready for the season. We have, a nice big announcement coming soon. Another joining us again. So we're going to be, speaking of bets, kind of that dropped the hint. We're going to be giving our bet. I don't know. You might want to do the complete opposite of what advice we give out. But hey, we'll make you some money either way. So really excited about that, and just excited in general, man. I really appreciate. We had Cedric Humes on. It was funny because I was just going through like Steeler rookie cards, and I had his Virginia Tech card, and I'm like, oh. And then he comes on and hearing those Cower stories. So if you're tuning in, make sure you go back and listen to that. And I know I will tease this though. Next week we have a crossover episode, a very important person, I guess you can say, who was here in Oakmont, PA, which is pretty much my neck of the woods. So there's a lot of things being teased. So just make sure you subscribe, tell your friend, aunt, uncle in Sarasota, wherever they are. You could listen anywhere. And we want to thank our production team, Shane, and everyone as well.
He's
Jimmy.
teed up for the tease. So there you go.
So yeah, I mean, everything's great. Can't complain. I'm just ready for football.
It's here. So it's here.
Yeah. Nice shirt.
Thank you. Thanks for getting it for me. Appreciate it.
All right.
The comfiest shirts around.
Shane, take it away.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.